and today I am going to talk about GPU-accelerated sparse Cholesky factorization. Sparse and symmetric positive definite linear systems in the form of AX equals to B arise in large-scale modeling and simulations, for example, like weather forecasting, computational fluid dynamics, and chemical reactions. And Cholesky factorization is used to factorize sparse matrix A into triangular sectors L, where A equals to L transpose. Then L is used to compute the solution vector X by solving two triangular systems. Here, the efficient solution of such linear systems is crucial in the success of modeling and simulations. And in this work, we accelerate a serial algorithm using a GPU. And to do so, we offload some blast computations to a GPU. In this way, the actual algorithms remain serial. We only utilize available efficient GPU libraries. So this is an easy to implement way, but it achieves reasonable speed-up values. And in this work, most of the floating point operations are performed using multiple threads on the GPU, and the rest are also performed using multiple threads on the CPU. At the end, we achieved 4.5x speedup, and in this work, we used two recent right-looking sparse Cholesky algorithms, namely RL and RLB, as baseline. And for sparse Cholesky factorization, square nodes are way of efficient. They provide efficiency, and each square node is have dense parts. So their sparse structure is almost identical. There's a dense triangular block at the top, and below that, the sparse structure is the same for each column. Here we show two sample square nodes in the picture. And since indices are the same for each column in the square node, we do not need to store them multiple times. Also, these dense blocks in the square node enable using level 3+ operations, which provide efficiency. We also want to define a relationship between a square node and its parent square node. The parent square node is the first square node which the kernel square node will update. And we should note that the columns in the parent square node contain the non-zero pattern of child square node below the dense triangular block. And here we show as an example, the blue block in the child square node is also present in the parent square node. The right-looking sparse Cholesky algorithms need efficient indexing to perform updates on the parent square node. And as I mentioned, we store global indices for each square node. For example, for square node J2 here, we store indices 5 to 9 and 11, 12, 14, 21, and 22. And similarly, we store indices for J4. And then we define relative indices. These are the indices stored for each child and parent pair square nodes, and we store relative row indices. As follows, that is, for each matching index, we store the location of that index in the parent square. Then we can easily generate relative indices for further ancestors as well. And here we show an example relative indices between J2 and J4. For example, the index 22 in the child square node is the fourth element in the parent square node. So we store just 4 for it, and then for 21, we store 5, and so on. So we have relative indices for each matching index. Now I can basically describe our first algorithm. We call it RL, or right-looking. The algorithm works for square node by square node. So for each square node, we first transfer the square node I from CPU memory to GPU memory, and then factorize this square node I on GPU using multi-threads with DPOTRF and DTRSM calls. And then we asynchronously transfer square node I from GPU memory to CPU memory. Here we can use asynchronous transfer because the factorized square node I is not immediately required in the CPU memory. And then we compute the update matrix on the GPU using the DSYRK call. And then we transfer the computed update matrix from GPU memory to CPU memory. Finally, we assemble the update matrix to the factor matrix. Note that here, actually, we need to efficient indexing. So to summarize, basically, we transfer each span from CPU memory to GPU memory, and then perform the associated computation on the GPU, and then transfer back to the computed results. Our second algorithm, right-looking block, or in short RLB, is also similar, and it also works span node by span node. So we first, again, transfer span node I from CPU memory to GPU memory, and then factorize it on the GPU using the DPOTRF and DTRSM calls, and then again, asynchronously transfer span node I from GPU memory to CPU memory. And actually, both algorithms are the same up to this point. And then instead of computing the update matrix for the whole span node, we just divide the span nodes into blocks. And this algorithm just process each pair of blocks. For example, here we show two sample blue blocks, and these blue blocks produce an update matrix for the block in the parent span node. So the algorithm continues for each pair of blocks in span node I and compute an update matrix with DSIORK or DGEM calls. And then we transfer this small update matrix from GPU memory to CPU memory, and then assemble the update matrix into factor matrix. Since this block is updated in the factor matrix as a block, we only need one indexing here. So when we compare our two proposed algorithms, right-looking and right-looking blocks, we can see that the right-looking coarser grain tests on the GPU because it's compute a single update matrix for each span. So these tests may be easily parallelized by the library on the GPU. However, its memory usage is higher because the whole update matrix will be stored on both CPU memory and GPU memory. So actually, this method is limited by the GPU memory size. When we consider our second method, right-looking blocks, we can see that its memory usage is lower because it only stores smaller pair of blocks, and its disadvantage is it has finer grain of tasks, which may be hard to parallelize by the libraries. And we know that the GPU is faster for computation. However, data must be transferred before CPU memory to GPU memory, and the data transfer is slow. So if the span node is not large enough, the cost is dominated by the transfer cost. So to solve this problem, we keep small span nodes in the CPU and perform the associated computation on the CPU. We also perform span node merging to increase the task size at the expense of storing and operating on some zeros. We also perform reordering inside each span. So we get larger blocks and less number of blocks, and these larger blocks help us to, our second algorithm, RLB, runs on these blocks, and when these blocks are larger, it performs better. We tested our method on event-one sparse matrices from Swiss sparse matrix collection, where the matrix sizes are up to 4 million with up to 1 billion numbers. We compared our methods against their CPU-only variants. Note that the baseline codes also are still serial, but we only use multi-threaded BLAS libraries. We run them with multiple number of threads and use their best times. And for GPU versions, we used cuBLAS and Magma libraries for operations on the GPU. Finally, our first method, RL, achieved up to 4.5 speedup, but it cannot handle one matrix because of the limited GPU memory size. On the other hand, our second method, RLB, achieved up to 3.15x speedup, but it can handle all test matrices. To summarize, Cholesky algorithm is commonly used to solve sparse independent systems, which are important for large-scale modeling and simulations. And we accelerated a serial algorithm by utilizing a GPU. We just uploaded some floating point operations, and we keep small computations on the CPU. As a future work, we want to overlap more data transfer with computation and we want to extend the general mathematics with Berkeley. Thank you for your attention.